Yeah.
Okay. Welcome back. We'll start now the general Module 5 information. And I start with one of the famous Ellsworth handwritten notes. And you see here I gave you two WBGT readings. So I want to make sure the sound's on. Yep, we're looking good. So what's the difference between these two? And if somebody says it, they're brilliant. What's the difference between these two WBGT? Wet bulb, globe thermometer.
One with the solar mode and one without it.
Yeah, there you go. Usually somebody will say one's for inside and one's for outside. And you got the more technical reason. Yeah, one does not have basically the radiant energy. And last time I was listening to one of the presentations, I had to laugh. I said radiation for radiant energy. If you guys ever go back and listen to my videos, occasionally I'm like, what was I thinking? But anyway, radiant energy. Why do we not worry about radiant energy inside?
No sun.
Yeah, no sun. Doesn't happen. And the lights are minimal. So, again, how do you get a time-weighted average? You guys see that. We're going to do more with crystal silica, but I wanted you guys to see kind of the old school method, and I'm going to bring in, when I do the other crystal silica, kind of the newer method. So again, what do you guys think, and I don't care what industry you're in, where are you going to see crystal silica?
Anytime you cut stone.
Yeah, stone, concrete, demolition, things like that. Also occasionally in production. So, is silica a subset of quartz? Or is quartz a subset of silica? You guys look.
Silica.
Okay. Which way does it go?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, how are you going to find out, guys? I can't give you every answer. There you go. I want you guys to take a little ownership on this one. What'd you look at? What are you looking, Dave?
Just gonna guess.
Huh?
It's true false. You got 50% chance.
I knew you were going to say it. I want you to increase it to 100. So what is it?
True.
True. Silica or quartz? And here's the more exclusive. Which is more exclusive?
Quartz.
Yeah, and there you go. And that was your diagram there. If you look at it, you kind of see silica, you know, is part of the quartz. So that's what I wanted you guys to see. How do you get the pale? This is old school methods, guys. And I wanted you to see this because there's an article this week before the new pale came out where you kind of talk about the silica standard. A lot of these numbers are old school. Go ahead.
Now around here with all the limestone from the quarries, you know, it's crushed up for lime and quicklime and everything else. Is silica, especially like out towards Woodville, Gibsonburg, all those places, is the silica in the air?
So you got to get it airborne somehow. Right. So you just said crushing, grinding.
But I know, like, I used to date a girl in Woodville, and you would, you know, the next morning my car would have literally coated with lime from crushed limestone.
Yeah.
You know, is everybody out there breathing in silica?
I don't know that they are, and I'm not familiar with that area, but I'll tell you at least you would want to look, and Dave, you're kind of setting me up for this. If all the restful dust is an exposure to silica, what's the pale? So what is the pale for silica, guys? It's a new pale.
50 per million.
So here's how you used to get the old. Now I'll tell you, you guys, this was for basically a cyclone. I'm going to show you guys when we come back and I start the specific silica, what's a little bit different. And again, there's your pale. So here's what you got to think about. And we've kind of hit on this. I've talked about, you know, inspirable, thoracic, and respirable. 3 regions. You guys kind of see how the human's set up. What's really cool about it, the problem with silica, and I'm going to be very general about it, what it does. And I always say this, if I could give you the choice, which you would prefer to die with, silica exposure or asbestos, what would your answer be?
Not to do it.
Never one, none of them. If you had to choose one, which would you choose?
The same, basically.
Not exactly. So here's my question. What does the asbestos do when scar tissue forms around it? Stays there. What does the silica do? It actually gets more or less, it doesn't stay there, it goes to another site and damages. So, if you're going to die, pick asbestos. No, here's your thing, protect both ways. It's kind of your trivia of the day. Couple of videos I gave you guys. I am going to put one of the videos up there because I want you guys to see this. So,
welcome to SKC Tech Clips. Today, we'll show you how to calibrate a sample pump for high-flow sampling with the SKC Parallel Particle Impactor, or PPI. Start by assembling equipment required for calibration and sampling. Choose a constant flow air sample pump capable of 8, 4, or 2 liters a minute. Select a calibrator within the pump's flow range. Use method-specified NCE, PVC, or PTFE filters and supports. Contact your laboratory to condition and pre- and post-wave filters if sampling for gravimetric analysis. PPI samplers are available in reusable aluminum or disposable plastic for respirable or thoracic sampling.
now I'm going to stop it there because I want you guys to see. You will have a lot of industrial hygienists, and me included, that used to use something called a cyclone. And the advantage was those cyclones have been around for a while. They use the same principles as a PPI. This is a much better way to sample. Now the problem with it is it's cheaper in the long run, but you're going to have a lot of industrial hygienists not like it because why? What do you guys think? I told you it's cheaper, you get better results, you can't mess it up. The silica or the basically the cyclones we used to, if we turned them over, your sampling was no good because you had a grip pot that collected everything and you dump them. Why would we be resistant to something like this?
Because it's changed.
There you go. So you guys, if you're ever dealing with someone that samples silica, remind them you want to use PPIs because there's a lot of old curmudgeons that do not like it.
Disposable PPI can be purchased preloaded with PVC or NCE filters if only chemical analysis is desired. A calibration adapter is available for disposable plastic PPI samplers. Flexible Tygon tubing connects calibration and sampling train components. Calibrate verified pump flow rate before and after each sample. For this video, we will use the SKC 4 liter a minute user-loaded disposable PPI. This PPI model is supplied with a shrink-wrapped inlet plate. Remove the shrink wrap before proceeding. Use forceps to insert a 37mm support pad and filter into the sampler base plate. If you intend to sample for gravimetric analysis, you will need to have filters conditioned and weighed at a laboratory before sampling. Install the inlet on the base plate. Press down firmly and evenly for an effective seal. Remove the protective cap from the sampler exhaust. Install the calibration adapter on the sampler inlet. Be sure to establish a good seal. Connect the pump inlet to the sampler exhaust with tubing. Use a second length of tubing to connect the calibrator to the calibration adapter. Run the pump for 5 minutes and prepare the calibrator according to manufacturer instructions. Set the pump flow rate to that required by the PPI model used. This achieves the closest match to the respirable or thoracic ISO 7708 SEN criteria. Enter calibration mode on the pump. See pump operating instructions for more information. Observe flow readings. Adjust flow calibration until the calibrator displays.
So I'm going to stop it, guys, with that. I wanted you all to see it, and another, I'll probably have them shoot me when I say this, or at least be upset with me. You guys, I'm passing around class one of the PPIs, so please take it apart. If I can borrow it real quick, I'll show them to them everything. Go ahead and fill it all. Oh, thanks, sir. Oh, yeah. No, you're good. So just so you guys know, again, the calibrator, I'm going to pass that around, and actually the PPI with the filter preloaded. So it goes together like that. And I'm going to send that around, and when you do calibrate it, obviously your pump's there, and you pull through it. And you notice you've even got those set up. So there you go, guys.
Does that have to be cleaned between sample sets?
Yeah, usually I'm going to tell you what I do is I'll actually send it back to the lab and let them load it for me. So, yeah. Because what happens, you have to send it into the lab for analysis, and they'll send it back to you preloaded silica. So it's a good way to do it. Just
You don't even worry about putting filters or anything.
yeah, I don't. Guys, we used to load when we used to make our own filters, and right now it just takes so much time, and I know it's going to sound really bad, lazy, but it's much easier to let the lab. Why did I tell you the lab's better to do it? Again, they're going to take it apart and analyze it, and they know what's going on. Now, should you check them? Yeah, but occasionally that's a good way to do that. Both of those, and here's the thing, why would people use a cyclone in a sampling train? Again, they're not using the PPIs, and I wanted you to be aware. This is the old cyclone. If you look, the grip pots right here, basically it operated, the heavier particles fell out, and the flow rate determines what's collected on the filter here. And what used to happen, if we had someone wearing one of these and they turned it upside down, what do you think happened to all the dirt or the particles in the bottom? It spilled onto the filter. So what was your whole day of sampling? Junk, wasted. That's why I like the PPIs. And I just want you guys, I'm going to bias you. I am sorry. I know some people, and by the way, if you're ever interested, OSHA did approve these about a year ago. Actually, now it's been 2 years. So I can send you, because you're going to have an IH say, wait a minute, all the curves were done on this. There were some new curves done, sampling curves. Here's kind of your definitions. You need to understand. One of the best you'll see is respirable. We've already talked about. Breakthrough means if you overload the filter, the lab will tell you you've overloaded it. It's not going to work. This is actually your standard industrial code here. It's your industry. We've talked about quartz silica, APF, air purifying filter. That's for your respirator, dust mask, bulk sample, half face, and limit of detection. Just some definitions you need to know. So we're going to do more with silica, but I wanted to give you that quick introduction. The other thing I wanted to mention is these are kind of the management standards that we'll talk about in IH. I want you guys to concentrate on Z10. That's the one, ANSI Z10. And basically what's the setup? The plan, do, check, act. You guys know each of those activities. I always say if you're setting up industrial hygiene, you need to make sure you're doing that. And here is the continuous improvement plan. If you guys look at it, if you ever need a nice little graphic, this is the one I always use to kind of describe. Does it make sense to you guys? If you follow what is basically the 3O policies, you got to have your policies, you got to have employee participation, planning, implementation, checking corrective actions, then you got to review what you did. And if you notice, you start here, you improve, then you reduce. And again, Here's kind of the management standard scope with the same thing. Scope, definitions, leadership, planning, implementation. So this is what you need to know for management. Again, Z10 is what I recommend if you're ever in a situation, which some of you may be, where you need to set up an IH program. You may want to look at this standard and use it. So again, a wealth of knowledge, okay? Especially if you're trying to start a new program. Beyond evaluation, you guys know implement, design, integrate, educate. You guys have heard me talk about prevention through design. I cannot say it enough. I just told you one of the almost major mistakes I made. And one time I couldn't stop it with the ventilation or the capture system in the sugar plant. They said, oh no, it'll work. We got in there, we didn't have enough makeup air. Guess what? It did not work. So industrial hygiene management, again, we want to protect people. This is where you start getting into, and what I would recommend, I don't care where you are in the world, the American Board of Industrial Hygiene and a lot of other accrediting boards have the same standards. And, you know, producing a product in a profitable, orderly, and consistent manner, and also being ethical to your employees. Again, who's the most important? Who has control over employees? Do you as the health and safety guy? Do you tell your employees what to do as health and safety?
They work directly for me, yes.
Okay, so Dave's saying they do. So do you do their evaluations?
They work for me.
No. If they work for you, out on the line, let's say you're a health and safety manager, you've got a plant of 1,000 people. Who controls those employees? Do you tell them what to do day to day?
No.
Okay. Who does?
They're going to have, depending on how it's structured, they're going to have like a group leader or a group boss, and then...
So maybe line supervisor? Why did I put that on there? Because I want you guys to realize this is your key point. The most important person in a health and safety program, and this is evidence-based, and it's also something you will see, line management is responsible for safety. And I know you guys are going to buckle and go, wait a minute, I'm going to graduate school. I'm going to be in charge of environmental health and safety. Guys, you don't control anybody. You're an advisor. You're there to help them. And if the train runs off the track, it's your fault. No, I'm kidding. But you guys need to realize that line supervision, I don't care what country, what area, the people that supervise them, that say whether they get a pay increase, say whether they get paid for the day, those are the guys that control safety. Because no matter what you do, they're going to do it. Now, what do? We write effective policies. We convince them that it's in their interest to be safe because of the employees. But I want you guys to understand, a lot of these people have more influence over employees than you do. Now, you guys again have regulatory, you have lots of reasons you can do that. So again, you know, incident rates, you can also control people by talking about incident rates. And there's two different theories. The theory X, Douglas McGregor talked about it. It's work-centered approach. 4 assumptions here, and I want you guys aware of this. Work is a chore. People dislike work. People must be corrected. And people prefer to be led and avoid responsibility. Do you think that's really the worker? And Dave's saying yes. What do you guys think? Could be, couldn't it? I hope not. If you have this, you need to go back and maybe look at it. Here's your other theory. This is Don Ellswick, Pollyanna. I hope we have these employees. What are these guys? Oh, their work is accepted. People can exercise self-control. You don't want to threaten to motivate. So what do you think? I always joke, I need you guys to know these 2 theories, but what usually happens? if you say this is all your employees, what are you going to do?
Micromanage.
Yeah. You're going to create by the way, guys, do people quit jobs?
Every day.
Nope, they quit bosses. Never forget that. That's my theory. That's not evidence-based. That's the Don Ellsworth theory on it. People do not quit jobs, they quit bosses. Because think about it. I have seen people with really crappy jobs that'll stay with it because they love their boss or they love who they're doing. So by the same token, people, if their boss is a jerk, and then people will argue this, oh, if you pay them enough, they'll stay. Guys, I've seen very high-paying jobs, people say, that's it, I can't take it anymore, and they've left. So what I'm going to encourage you, again, theory X, theory Y, hopefully you're somewhere in between, but hopefully you're more theory Y, especially in our job, because we're influencing, guys. We're not directly managing. Here's theory Z. Kind of goes beyond people and work. You look at the size, team approach, you have less managers, it's more of a flattened organization. And again, during the 1980s, we were kind of told this is Ochi's Japanese style management. It's very, very flat. In other words, you may go from the production floor to the site leader and you may only have one layer of bureaucracy in between them. Very flat, maybe two at the max. And then here are some of the other theories of workers. Now, which one of these are correct? I like it, yeah. Depends on the organization and depends on the culture. I mean, it's like trying to describe the University of Findlay students. They're all types of students, so you got to be prepared to look at them. But again, there's some, I want you guys to know the names of the theories and at least understand them. And here's some of the TQM practices, some of the ISO 14000, and again, what's going on. This was part of the old Deming, and this was kind of the 80s, 90s theory, the plan, do, check out. One of the things that I do like, and let me go back to that, the Gantt charting is very good for industrial hygiene. What this does, it basically starts at the beginning, what's going to go on each week, each day. And again, for large projects, the PERT technique is very good. So, I kind of hit it. What's the hardest problem when you're doing IH, and we could probably say EHS? What do you guys have the biggest problem with if you're trying to get somebody to work safely? What will you hear?
They'll say that they know more.
They know more, absolutely.
Know better.
And they haven't been hurt either, have they? What do you think? I'm not safe? I know what I'm doing. How long have you been here? You guys ever heard that? You were here 2 weeks, you think you know more than I do? Kind of one of those where they'll back you down. You need to remind them that you're actually trying to learn, so you need to be that partner. You know, you can be accused of, same thing, you don't appreciate the bottom line. I kept this business going while you were studying in school. And you got to say, yes, you do. Acknowledge that, but also you need to tell them that, hey, I'm going to try to help you get even better. You need to be my partner. And again, that's hard because some people do not want to work with you, so you got to have those small wins. And again, this is the biggest thing, limited resources. When departments start arguing over that, it gets ugly, ugly, ugly. So here's your keys to success. And guys, these are evidence-based, but there's also things that I know after years. If you have a sense of vision, if you know where you're going, people will follow you. If you have an idea and you're able to convince upper management and really understand the work and the corporate culture, then you'll have wind in your sails. You'll just take off. It'll be amazing. I hear people say all the time, I work 70, 80 hours a week. And you know what I always say to that? It's great. How sustainable is that? How long can you keep that up? I know I can't. Maybe 4 or 5 weeks, and then what do you have to do? If you're working 80 hours a week, probably what are you going to do after 4 or 5? Yeah, find a new job. I like that. You're going to crash. You're going to have to do something. And I know a lot of people that can do it for years and years and years, and it does have an effect on them. But I hope you guys understand, the more people you get involved, you don't have to work that long, and actually the more effective, because when you're working long hours, and I've seen people work 80 to 100 hours per week, which is just amazing to me. And you know what they end up doing? They get frustrated. They can't get things done because, again, the body and mind need to rest. So you need to think process, not just trying to get there on your own and who you can incorporate. So here's kind of the training question of the day. Excellent training can overcome unsafe working conditions. Why no? I gave you a reason there. But what do you guys think? I said basically no matter how effectively done, it can't make up for work or take the place of safe work conditions. So why would I say that? What's the one exception if you can get this training incorporated? You guys ever heard of stop work authority? Yeah, stop work authority means it is so dangerous that I'm not even going to do it. So how are you safe? But of course it'll put you out of business if you don't produce product, because you're just going to stop working. That stop work authority will overcome this. It's actually, I usually have somebody argue, well, it's true. If you give the employee stop work, they won't ever get hurt. Of course, you don't produce any product, so guess what? So I just wanted you guys to see that question. What's the value of scheduling training? And in particular, what's the value with getting the front office buy-in? What do you guys think?
Learn how to do things, get
Yeah.
an idea, background.
They can help you schedule it so you minimize costs too. Yep, what else, Dave?
One of the big benefits of scheduled training is it's not a back burner project. If you say, okay, Monday at between 9 and 10 o'clock we're having training,
Yeah.
then Monday between 9 and 10 o'clock training's going to happen.
Yeah.
If it's just, you know, sometime during the week you need to set aside an hour to do training, that 1 hour never happens until Friday at, 7 o'clock in the evening, then you're all sitting around doing training.
Yeah, and that's why you want to look at it. So again, that's also set dates, hold to them. So here's the thing, and I'm doing that with you guys right now. What's the worst type of training?
What we're doing.
Yeah. I think it's better if you guys think about it. When we walked over to the ventilation lab where I passed things around, isn't it better than even a video or me talking about it? Guys, think about that when you're doing training. How do you get your employees engaged? And that is a difficult part of it. So again, learning objectives, basic business activities. You need to basically develop a relationship and some of your value strategies you can look at. The only other thing I'm going to talk about is, I know we do regs, and what I'm going to do now is take a quick break with you guys because you all look tired, and speaking of training, and we'll pick back up with the regs. So do about a break.